Hey everybody. So you're finished with week 3 and we're on to week 4. Whew. So week 3, that was something else, right? So hopefully you all are were able to get your projects turned in. I will say I have briefly looked in the folders and sort of clicked through all of them. I haven't graded them yet, but I will be getting to some grading here very soon. Probably this week I'll go through and catch up on all the grading. So, first things first, I do want to sort of switch over here really quickly and look at the files you all turned in, um, and just sort of call out a few things. That there are a couple of these that I don't know who they are, right? So, for example, bridge render, bridge, unfinished bridge, I have no idea who those are, right? And so, I mean, yeah, some of them are pretty good files. Um, but I don't know who to give this grade to, right? Let's see this one here. So again, like this one, and I will look through these files more closely and make sure there's not a second file that's been like renamed. Like sometimes people do that; they'll accidentally turn it in, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to put my name on it." But if I don't know who it belongs to, I have no idea how to grade it, right? So this is in the online section, and if you're in the on ground section, we had a few that had done something like that too. I think most people had corrected for it. Um, yeah, like, I don't know who my render or unfinished project is. One of the things I can do sometimes if I sort them by file size, if they're the exact same file size, I can look at those and be like, oh, they just turned that same file in twice. Um, but that doesn't seem to be the case with some of these. So Untitled Project, um, I don't know who this is, and um, my render 005, I don't know who this is. Also, if you need to let me know if you're using any models that aren't yours. Like if you downloaded some like for extra filler for your scene or something, let me know if that's the case. If not, I'll just assume they're yours. Um, so so that's an important part of this, right? Is to make sure that I know who to give the grade to, and the vast majority of you did really good on that. I just wanted to mention that about a few people. If you go into your grades in a few weeks and you're like, why do I have a 0 on that? It's because I didn't know that that was your file, right? And so I just assumed you didn't turn something in. It's not too late. You have turned something in. It just wasn't named correctly. Turn it in again with the correct name, um, like today. If you any later than today, and it will go into a revisions folder. So I can show you that as well. Let me go ahead and hide my camera again. So you should see this. We'll see this in a minute, but this is what it looks like on my computer, right? As I get these folders, and you're just uploading directly to these folders. So there should be a revisions folder that you will see here in a minute. This is where I want you to put new files. I'm actually going to take this folder away when I grade. Okay, so you won't be able to access it anymore. But you will see if we go into our content this week, I'm just going to skip a few things here just to show you this. If we go to week 4, all the way down here under assessments, I have this revisions submission, right? And that's going to be in every week of the semester. Um, yes, that's going to be in every week of this semester from here on out, right? It's always going to that same revisions folder I just showed you, which is right here, right? And anytime you upload to there, it will show up in that folder, and whenever I do my grading, I will use that um, to update the grade that you've turned in, right? So to be safe, anything you turn in from here on out, like turn it in there. Let me know if you're turning something in too, and I can always go grade it kind of quickly if you're needing some feedback on it. let's look at the rest of this week. So, again, let me bring the camera back. I like seeing my face. So this has been a hard 3 weeks, right? I know that a portion of you are probably really kind of stressed now. We crashed through 3 weeks of a lot of really complicated new stuff. So I want you to keep practicing with Maya, but for a little while we're going to take a break from it. We're going to sort of take a breath and remember, although this was really hard, we got into it because we like animation. Animation is great, right? So this week we're not going to be doing much of anything in Maya. And I would encourage you to open it up periodically. Use some of this time to, if you still had some revisions you want to do to your project, use some of this time for that as well. But let's look at what we will be looking at this week. So, a lot of what we're going to talk about now is the history of animation and why we understand animation. So we have this history and process section where we sort of talk about the evolution of how animation came to be and how it is sort of linked to motion and art. It's a long section, but it's mainly reading and looking at pictures. It's not a terrible amount of reading, and then there's a little bit of videos at the end, right, that I didn't make. The other, there's actually 3 sections in here under the content. There's also the illusion of motion, where we talk about sort of the way our brain works and why we understand this as motion, like why, that we are not actually creating emotion, we are creating the illusion of emotion. And how we can leverage that as a tool. And so there's a lot of information in here that I think you're really going to enjoy. This is just some stuff to look at if you find things in it that I'm sorry. No, I don't know where I was going with that sentence, so I'll back away from it. The last thing we have in here is another small lecture. Right, so this seems like a lot of content, but it's actually very relatively quick stuff to go through, which is we're going to create a GIF this week. And yes, I pronounce it GIF. I do not judge you if you pronounce it GIF. But we are going to be making a moving GIF. I have a couple of videos here. These are just one of the ways you can make a GIF. It doesn't mean that this is what you have to do, but I show you how to use a pixel art 2D animation software called Piskel. This is one of our little like forays into the 2D world, if 2D animation is something you like. But again, you don't have to use Piskel. This is just if you're not familiar with any other 2D programs and you want to try it, or you're just interested in pixel art. Really, a GIF is just a series of images that change a little bit over time, and there is dozens or hundreds of ways that you could make that, right? This could be stop motion. This could be something you do on paper. This is just talking about how to create that. And so now you can make your own memes if you want to. Back to content. No, actually, let's go back one more step. Let's go all the way back to week 4. So the only thing that's really due this week is our GIF, right? We have to make something for this week's discussion, and we're just going to you're going to create a GIF. It can be anything you want. The only 2 stipulations are that the motion has to be composed of a minimum of 10 unique images, and it must be safe for all audiences, right? So there are things we don't want to see GIFs of in this discussion. So it can be fan art, it can be your favorite characters, whatever. But I want you to use at least 10 different images to compose some sort of motion, and 10 is a minimum, not a maximum. You can, if you want to go up to like 200, that's fine. The GIF will get kind of big, but but that is up to you. And really, what you're going to do is you're going to share it and you're going to comment on it. Like this is more of a let's talk about animation. Let's talk about why we like it. Let's talk about what's fun about it. And this is kind of a reminder week after what has been a couple of really hard technical weeks, right? Where we're learning a new software package and struggling with it, and that's okay, right? It's okay to struggle with this. This is actually struggle means you're making progress, right? If you weren't struggling with it, that means you already knew it and you didn't need this class, or it means that you weren't pushing yourself and so you didn't grow any. Right? Struggle is evidence that education is working, right? So so that's okay, but I recognize you probably need a little bit of a break from Maya. What I would say is don't like completely just like throw it under the bed and ignore it, right? Like occasionally open it up, play around in it. The things that you were fighting with, sort of fight with them a little bit more this week, just sort of tinker in Maya. But there's nothing specifically due in it. I know that we're 3 weeks in, so some of you may be coming up on your 30-day trial relatively soon if you haven't been able to get the student licensed version of that. So if you haven't, I would say sort of speed up that process. Make sure that you're addressing that as an issue and getting that done, because I don't want you to be halfway through a week and suddenly Maya just stops working on you and you can't finish your assignment. If you have any questions along the way, let me know. Again, my office hours are listed on the website. You can hop into that Zoom meeting without an appointment. You just hop in. If I'm in there, we can chat. If you need to meet at another time, my cell phone is in there. My email is in there. Send me a text message and I will, or an email, and we can set up another time to meet as well. But if you're available any of those times that my office hours are there, just hop in, we can chat. I will say it's been a little crowded in my office hours. There have been a few people who have kind of had to wait for a little while for a chance to chat. And that's because of portfolio and midpoint review. A lot of people are showing up from that to ask questions. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions along the way, and great work on pushing through this project. Again, I watched through some of the videos this morning, and a couple of them made me literally laugh out loud because they were very creative, very fun, and good job. You are putting in the effort. It's paying off. So I'll talk to you very soon. Bye bye.